Imagine if one night your doors are locked, the windows are sealed shut, and yet a crime is committed against you. There's no sound, no face, no evidence. The next morning, the entire neighborhood is talking about just one thing. It happened again. Someone's braid was cut. In 2017, across several states in India, thousands of women were saying the exact same thing. I was perfectly fine. Then suddenly I fainted, and when I came to my braid had been cut, the question wasn't who did it. The bigger question was, did a braid cutter even exist? Or was the entire country battling a fear? This is the story of the braid cutter, a fear that became bigger than the truth. The year is 2017, a time when the country was already living in an atmosphere of tension and uncertainty. And into this climate, a news story slowly began to grip the entire society. The first incident came from a small village. A woman recounted how she was working at home when she suddenly felt dizzy. Her eyes closed. When she regained consciousness, her braid was lying cut on the ground. She didn't see anyone come in or anyone leave. At first, people dismissed it as a bizarre, isolated incident. But then, a second case was reported, then a third, then a fourth, and suddenly it wasn't just news anymore. It had become a fear. Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh. The story was nearly identical everywhere. Women would faint, their braids would be cut, and no one would be seen. People started coming up with their own explanations. Some said it was a gang. Others claimed it was one man who only targeted women, and a few whispered that this wasn't the work of a human at all. Fear had taken root. In villages, doors were bolted as soon as evening fell. Women stopped going out alone. Family members began escorting children to and from school. At night, men started standing guard. Armed with sticks, batons, and torches, entire communities were preparing to fight an enemy they couldn't see. And then, the media arrived. Cameras, microphones, sensational headlines. Another braid cut today. Terror strikes the area. Police failure. TV screens were filled with the faces of frightened women, holding their severed hair, their voices trembling with panic. Every channel was asking the same question: who is the braid cutter? But nobody was asking, is there really anyone to find? Meanwhile, the most powerful weapon of all had been activated: WhatsApp. Every morning brought new messages. Be careful tonight. Another braid cut in this village. Look, this is the culprit. Most of the pictures being shared were fake. They were old or from a completely different country. But the fear, that was absolutely real. And fear spreads much faster than the truth. In just a few days, the fear took a dangerous turn. Any stranger walking down the street became a suspect. In several places, innocent people were caught and beaten by mobs. No evidence, no investigation. Just pure fear overtaking reason. The pressure on the police mounted. Every day brought new questions, new cameras. An investigation was launched. They reviewed CCTV footage, analyzed medical reports, and examined the so-called crime scenes. But every investigation led to the same conclusion: no culprit, no gang, no pattern. In many cases, the braids were found to have been cut by the women themselves. In others, the hair was already weak and brittle. And one thing was common among many of the women: they were under extreme mental stress. Doctors and scientists started using a term for it: mass hysteria, a collective psychological fear. When a society is constantly bombarded with stories of fear, the mind starts to believe that the fear is reality. Normal bodily reactions like dizziness, anxiety, or weakness get misinterpreted as signs of an attack. This wasn't the first time something like this had happened. Remember the 2001 Delhi Monkey Man? People claimed a strange creature was jumping on rooftops. No evidence was ever found. But the fear was real. Or Europe's dancing plague centuries ago, where people danced non-stop, some until they collapsed from exhaustion. The reason was the same, a mass psychological delusion. But why did this panic target only women? Because a braid is not just hair. It's a symbol of identity. It's a matter of respect. It's a part of culture. And when fear attacks something so personal, the impact is profound. Gradually, the media found a new story to chase. The reports started to dwindle. The WhatsApp groups fell silent. And just like that, the braid cutter vanished, without ever being caught, without being punished, because perhaps he never existed in the first place. But one thing still remains: the fear itself. Today it's about braids. Tomorrow it will be something else. Rumors still spread just as fast today. Mobs still pass judgment before seeing any evidence. This isn't just the story of a criminal. This is the story of us, our society, and our mindset. The braid cutter may never have existed, but the fear that shook an entire country is still very much alive. The next time you see a rumor spreading, before you let yourself get scared, ask yourself one simple question: what is the truth? If you appreciate deep, honest stories based on true events like this, then subscribe to the channel, because every fear has a story, and every story has a lesson. Thanks for watching.